Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we're live. Here we go. Well, hello, Knockout Nation. You're watching Knockout TV show, and I'm your host here in Toronto, Noel Clubb. And welcome to Spanish Sports Network on Zingo TV channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app for respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave us a comment, because we always want to hear from you folks. We absolutely sure do. And Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV Sticks. Roku and Roku Sticks are also available on all smart TVs for 2016 forward. All right, thank you for the viewers out there watching Knockout TV show around the world. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Now it's that time to introduce today's super duper awesome knockout panel. So first off, he's a knockout boxing predictor and a very insightful analyst joining us live from New York City. Please welcome the one and the only, the boxing prophet, Mr. Richard Solomon, to the show. Welcome, Richard.
What's going on, guys? As you can see, I'm wearing my first place New York Rangers hat here.
Rub it in. Yeah.
You know, the weather here in New York is more unpredictable than Canelo Alvarez's next fight. You know, it's raining one day and it's 60 degrees the next.
Yeah.
But I feel happy and honored to be back on the greatest boxing show of all time, Knockout TV show.
Much.
And if this show wasn't only an hour, I would bust out one of my favorite tunes, Peaches and Herb's classic back in 1979, reunited, and it feels so good.
Right on. Good call there, man. Oh, yes. Yes, he's back for sure. Right on. Yeah, so what's happened with you, man? What's new with you these days? With Sir Richard Solomon, what's new with you?
Yeah, things are good. Can't complain. Ready to talk about the sweet sides.
Very good. He's ready to rock and roll, is he? Right on. Well, hey, very good. Thanks again for Richard for joining us here on the show. Always a pleasure. Get your insights later on the show. So next up on this really cool knockout panel, of course, we got the humble Canadian boxing treasure himself. He's actually held 6 provincial titles in the province of Ontario. He's an 8-time Canadian champion. He won the bronze medal in 1986 Commonwealth Games. He's a quarterfinalist in 1986 World Championships. Please welcome the very cool, the very awesome dude out of actually Victoria Harbour, Ontario, Mr. Steve Beaupre, to the show. Welcome, Steve.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here on the Knockout show.
Very good. What's new? What's happening with you?
Not too much. Just work.
Just work, eh? Yeah.
Year end's coming up, so we gotta finish some stuff. But just been we're doing a thing at Casino Rama.
Oh, you are, eh?
Train the trainer. So yeah. So we're staying there. But we're doing it in Rama, First Nation. So train the trainer, Red Road to Recovery program. So yeah. And I've just noticed so many former fighters, dealing with substance abuse after.
Yeah, good point.
Right. I was like, wow, I never knew he would. He was in recovery, and then But yeah, there's so many that, and I'm coming up on 35 years of continuous sobriety.
That's incredible too, as well. Yeah. That's phenomenal. But it's a good point you raised there, because that's so true about boxers. You know, I guess any industry, you leave an industry as an individual, you go through an identity crisis, because that's how you've seen yourself all that time you're there. That I'm a boxer, then you leave that world because of whatever happens.
Yeah,
and that's a real struggle for a lot of people, is that identity crisis of who am I now?
They don't have anything to go to. For me, I was fortunate because I was beginning to learn about our culture. I sobered up and I began to learn our culture. So I've been following our culture. Worked with this old man. You might have heard him. He was 113 when he passed. I worked with him for 15 years. I met him when he was young and spry, 98. Old man, and we call him the old man. Okeonini in the language. That means Earth Man. That was his Indian name.
Earth Man. Cool.
And he taught me a lot about life.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a show right there on itself. So. Yeah. No, very cool as always, man. Well, hey, thanks again for joining here on the show. It's always a pleasure to have Steve on the show. Always a pleasure. Another boxing royalty here on the show from out of Canada, as always. All right, next up on this really cool panel, we got the 4-time Canadian Youth Champion, He's Olympian, folks, and he fought for Canada. Tokyo Games 2021 in 69 kg weight class. And as of recently, he's the 2023 Pan American Games champion, folks, 63.5 kg weight class. He's joining us live, folks. And of course, he is from Nova Scotia. Please welcome Wyatt Sandman Sanford to the show. Welcome, Wyatt. How you doing, man?
Good. Always a pleasure to be on the show. I'm actually back in Nova Scotia at the moment.
Oh, very good. Very good. Back home, eh? Back home. So what's new with you right now after these titles been winning the last little while? What's new with you?
Just getting ready for Paris. 2024 is only about 5 months away, so we just gotta stay focused, stay locked in, and try and bring Canada a medal back from the Olympics in Paris.
Yeah, right on. Second time going for you in your case. Second time around. It's very
second time going, and first time going at a proper weight class.
That too, right? Because we had a discussion the longest time. It was like you were going to a heavy weight class last time. We were like, what's going on there?
Yeah, but, that was me after Tokyo. I said I wasn't doing 69 kilos again. I'm going back down to 63, and so far doing a lot more winning.
No kidding. I've been watching and following you on of course, social media, and again, such impressive victories been pulling off the last a while. But I'm not surprised, but it makes me more proud to see you pulling it off like that. It's amazing stuff. Where's the Pan American Games? That was a great performance in Pan American Games there.
A lot of people at the Pan Ams were concerned with me fighting Cuba first fight, but I was actually very happy with fighting Cuba right off the bat. The way my style matched with his was definitely in my favor, so it's definitely good to get him out right off the bat.
Yeah, the tough one out of the loop quickly. That's so true. Well, hey, man, thanks for joining us on the show again. Always a pleasure. Be back on again, the Sandman. Always good. So moving on, it's really cool, awesome panel here today. He is a former amateur boxer. He's a head coach and owner of No Exclusive Boxing and Fitness, located in beautiful Burlington, Ontario. Please welcome Mr. Ryan Rannelli to the show. Welcome, Ryan. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks, Noel. Thanks for having me. It's good to see some familiar faces.
Yes.
My friend Richard from New York. If I go to New York, I'll hit you up. And Steve Beaupre, always a pleasure. It's kind of cool. I grew up, my dad and all my uncles boxed, so I grew up listening to their stories, and I heard a lot of stories about Steve Beaupre for years and years, and then here I am now on a podcast with him, so that's kind of cool.
All good stories.
All good stories, yeah. No, trust me, they're all good.
Yeah. And it started with Chris Rannelli. We went to the Nationals in '79.
Right, yeah, because I think my dad and my Uncle Bill were a lot older than you guys, right? There was a bit of a gap between some of the brothers. Yeah, that's cool.
Who's your dad?
Yeah,
Ricky.
My dad's Rick.
Yeah,
Rick. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chris would be one of your uncles.
He was the youngest. Yeah.
Youngest of gotcha.
Youngest of the 5 brothers. Yeah.
And it was your grandfather that was our coach out at First Ontario Nationals. So I felt good because
no kidding.
Yeah.
He knew me.
What a family connection that is to have, eh?
So it's been cool to see Steve occasionally on this show. Yeah. And Wyatt, nice to see you. We've crossed paths. I don't think we've ever met, but we've crossed paths, and I've been enjoying watching you fight throughout the years.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
Next time we cross paths, you're going to have to stop and say hi.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely. Yeah, I trained. Yeah, I used to bring Amelia to the Nationals and Rodolfo too, right. And so I would watch you fight there.
Okay,
cool.
Always a pleasure. And Brad, I've known for years. Good to see you again. I think I saw you yesterday morning. At Steel Town.
In a very small box community we have here. Yeah.
For sure.
Very cool. Once again, Ryan, thanks for joining us as well, man. Always a pleasure as well. And it's been nice to bring of course, our boxers together as much as we can on this cool show. Oh, so Ryan had a commentary? Did I get a commentary, Ryan?
No, I just said thanks, Bill.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you as well, sir. Always a pleasure. And next up, and finally, he is a Canadian professional boxer in the lightweight division with a fight record of 11-0, 6 KOs from Hamilton, Ontario. He's, of course, an awesome part of the Fighting Wilcox family out of Hamilton, Ontario, and Steeltown Boxing Club. You find his next fight on the United Boxing Promotions card on April 27th at 8 p.m. at the Great Canadian Casino Resort. Get your tickets, folks, through Ticketmaster.ca. Please welcome Bradley Wilcox to the show. Welcome, Bradley.
Right, how's it
Good,
going?
man. Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you again. I think last time I seen you, I was with on the panel with all my
That's
brothers.
right, you were. That's right.
Yeah,
The funny Wilcox family. That's right. That's right. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have a big fight coming up on April 27th. But before we get to that, what's been new with you? Anything else happening in your life?
just the usual, just family, boxing, and work, and obviously signing with United
That's huge.
Boxing Promotion was one of the bigger things that have happened lately. And then I just look forward to getting back to being active in boxing because at one point, like when we were amateur boxers, we were fighting so often, and then with the professional game, it's more of like a business, right? So everything takes more time.
Yeah, exactly. Different ball game altogether, right? So many ways. In the ring, outside the ring, yeah. Totally. Yeah, what a great team up. I'm so glad you're with United Box Promotions. They're a great company, so I'm glad you're with them. They'll do a good job with you, and looking forward to April 27th to see you do with their fight that night. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. All right, so we'll get on to some boxing news, shall we? The world of boxing news, that is. So we'll touch on very quickly what happened a couple nights ago. There's a 34-year-old British-born heavyweight boxer, Anthony Joshua, had a great performance on Saturday, March 9th in Saudi Arabia, as Joshua had delivered a very quick second-round knockout against 37-year-old former UFC champion, Francis Ngannou. So knockout panel, I'm going to probably go over to Wyatt first on this one. What do you guys think on this question here? Will Anthony Joshua be able to fight the winner of Fury Usyk? What do you think on that? Will that actually happen? Will Joshua fight the winner of Fury and Usyk? What's your thoughts? Over to Wyatt first.
I think so. Definitely. I know everybody wants to watch it, whether it's Fury or Usyk. I know everybody likes watching the big boys go at it, and I think that's what we need for boxing is having the top guys go at it.
Yeah,
especially one of the things we needed about this fight with him and Ngannou on Friday. Best thing for boxing was having that finished in 2 rounds.
Absolutely, that was great.
It definitely separates the gap between UFC and boxing.
Yes.
And completely wiped the slate. And I think if even if Ngannou and Fury was to fight again, it's going to be a different fight because of that.
Yep.
But definitely, I know I'd love to watch Joshua fight the winner. I want Joshua to fight Fury, but we'll find out who wins. Come the spring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even that matchup right now is still up in the air too with Usyk and Fury. That could also change course too on us, which it has in the past as well. So, very true. But I just want to get you guys' opinion on this, get you guys' takes on this. Well, over to Bradley next. What do you think? Will Joshua be fighting the winner of Usyk and Fury? What's your thoughts? Your takes on that?
I personally think he will. I think Joshua, now that he's not protecting that now it's about the money. Now it's more about the boxing, which is nice. Like when fighters start to not protect that so much. See, not that they don't care anymore. It's just like
it's like protection.
Now they make big fights happen. Yeah. So I think it'll happen.
Right on. I hope so too. Over to Ryan. What's your thoughts? What takes on Joshua classifying those 2 rivals?
Do I think he'll actually take the fight between?
Well, actually happen. Between
Do I think it'll actually happen? No, that's a tough one, man. Like
it is.
You don't know what's going on in the background. The politics that happen. I mean, hopefully they can come to an agreement. I will say though that the Joshua, like Usyk or Joshua Fury, now just looks a lot more interesting to any casual fans or even like purists, like even the boxing purists are like a little more interested, I would say now, because Ngannou had that close fight with Fury, and then just got starched by Joshua.
Joshua. Oh, yeah.
And so you know what? So at least it makes it interesting. So there's gonna be some hype. I personally think maybe Fury probably underestimated Ngannou and didn't train for it.
I agree.
So by happenstance, Ngannou looked good against him. and that's what's making it. That's what's going to make the Joshua Fury possible fight, interesting now.
Yeah.
But whatever, at least, however it happened, man, it happened, right? So
absolutely. Well, building your point too with Fury against Ngannou, Fury came in at 278 pounds on the weigh-in, so like he was not in fight shape.
Yeah, he wasn't in fight shape, and you know what? Like prior to that fight, I don't think many people were very interested in Joshua Fury because, I mean, it was pretty clear by Joshua's resume and by Fury's resume that Fury's going to wipe the floor with him.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you got Ngannou in the mix. It looks a lot more interesting, right? So
yeah. No, right on.
Yeah.
Very good. And over to Steve. What's your take, Anthony Joshua? Do you think he's going to face off?
Just what Ryan was saying. Like usually one fight will get you back into the mix, right?
Sure can. Our sport.
That fight got him back into the mix.
Yeah.
And but I think Usyk's going to beat Fury.
Well, right on. Yeah.
So, and then Usyk will fight Joshua, right? And that could be interesting.
That would be a little more interesting for sure.
Yeah.
That would be.
Well, yeah, I think also, yeah, I think the Ngannou Fury fight also made Usyk Fury much more interesting too.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's
part of me still thinks Fury didn't prepare properly, so it's just an illusion. Like I think Fury's going to take the next fight seriously, and I imagine he'd win, in my opinion. But him having that performance against Ngannou just made all those fights interesting, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm really happy for Joshua for that performance because I want to see him have something more positive to work with there. So I'm glad that happened for him because kind of need a big step up in terms of a knockout, even though it was not the kind of fight looking for, but got a really quick knockout. It was a great performance. So I'm really happy for him. A lot of ways. Over to Boxing Prophet. What's your thoughts? Will Joshua stick a few?
First, let me say that unequivocally, you won't see a better knockout this year than Joshua Ngannou. That'll be 2024's knockout of the year. It was brutal. Like you and Mr. Rannelli alluded to, I think Fury didn't take Ngannou seriously at all. He was obese, completely out of shape, had no stamina. And for the record, even though he got knocked down early, I still thought Tyson Fury won the fight by a point. And I think that was the best thing that could have happened to Anthony Joshua's career. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, because the screens have been mixed up. But I think
that was the show. Keep it sharp for your toes.
I felt like it was Hollywood Squares there for a second with all the squares.
Now we are now.
But I think that was, in essence, that was the best thing that happened to Anthony Joshua's career, that Tyson Fury struggled with Ngannou. Because let's keep it real. If Tyson Fury knocks out Ngannou in 3 or 4 one-sided rounds, the Joshua fight never happens. And I think tremendous kudos has to go to Eddie Hearn, because a lot of people counted Anthony Joshua out. They said he was no longer a factor in the heavyweight division after back-to-back losses to Usyk. So what did Joshua's team do? They put him in winnable fights against Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, and Otto Wallin. Right. And he reeled off 3 straight victories before decapitating Ngannou. Now he's got 4 straight victories. You have to remember, Anthony Joshua, forget about his physical ability in the ring. He's very fragile. He's an emotional fellow, and he doesn't seem to want to overcome any adversity. Back when he first became the heavyweight champion, people forget he rose off the canvas. He rose off the deck to beat Klitschko with an all-time, classic. And that's right. Since then, he hasn't really been the same. A lot of people say Klitschko took his heart, and then Andy Ruiz took his soul. And a lot of people thought that Anthony Joshua would dance against Ngannou like he did in a rematch against Andy Ruiz, and he wouldn't go after him, that he'd be content to win every round. And boxing fans didn't want to see that. They wanted to see Joshua destroy Ngannou, and make a statement that Ngannou, should go back to MMA. And that's what he did. With regards to the Fury Usyk winner, it's going to take a long time because, from what I understand, they interviewed Fury right after the Joshua fight was over, and Fury has stated that there was a rematch clause against Usyk both ways. So even if one fighter destroys the other, there's still a rematch clause in play over the summer. So if we see Joshua fight the winner of Fury Usyk, most likely it won't be till 2025.
Great point. That's a great point.
And I also think that since Usyk beat Joshua twice, who in their right mind would want to see an Usyk Joshua 3? So for selfish reasons, I'm kind of forced to root for Fury to beat Usyk because I'd rather see Fury Joshua than Usyk Joshua 3.
Yeah.
And as to who I like in Fury Usyk, I think it's Fury's fight to lose. I know a lot of people have jumped off the Fury bandwagon saying he's unmotivated. He just wants a retirement paycheck. That's why he's fighting Usyk. But Fury seems to be in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
I've seen him, his workouts on social media. I saw the post-fight interview with him live during the AJ Nagano fight, and Fury is taking Usyk seriously, and Usyk does have some weaknesses. Let's not forget that in both fights against Anthony Joshua, he was hurt to the body, and even though Daniel Dubois hit him with a low blow, there were other rounds where Dubois got Usyk's attention with a body shot. So clearly the Achilles heel for Usyk is a body shot. And if I'm Team Fury, that's what I'm concentrating on. Constantly go to Usyk's body. Yes, Usyk is slick, and he could do some things to Fury like Otto Wallin did, where he's in and out, and he can out hustle Fury. But Fury can still punch, and if he goes to the body, if he comes into shape, if he weighs like 250, 255, I still think it's his fight to lose. Obviously, if he comes in like 280, 290, like he was against Nagano, then Usyk will completely out hustle him.
Yeah.
But, if Fury takes this fight seriously, I still think it's his fight to lose. And, for selfish reasons, I am rooting for Fury to beat Usyk only because I think Fury against Joshua, especially in Wembley Stadium, sometime in 2025, will be a show of epic proportions.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think people actually want to see Joshua fight Fury. We know in UK it's a huge big deal. It actually took place. We had massive viewership for that fight. So, yeah,
well, we don't want Joshua Usyk 3. So
that's right. Exactly. Yeah, point taken. And again, great insight, guys, and great points there as always. All right, let's move on then. We'll go on to topic number 2, round number 2. Another one. Well, it's going to happen. Will it happen or not happen? We shall see. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, as boxing community right now is basically asking a lot of questions, has a lot of concerns about Ryan Garcia's mental health due to his erratic behavior on social media these days. Devin Haney is, of course, defending his WBC super lightweight title against Ryan Garcia. But the questions right now, guys, will be on April 20th, that is, at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Be seen on the Zone pay-per-view. But over to you guys. What do you think? Will Haney Garcia happen now? April 20th, there's always concerns going on, or those rumor mills right now. Will it happen? I'll go over to Wyatt first. What do you think? Will it happen or not happen? Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, April 20th.
That one's a tough one. For me, it's completely up in the air if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And for me personally, if it happens or not, I'm not a huge fan of either one of them. So for me, if it happens or not a big deal. The way Garcia has been on social media and the way he's been during the press conferences is making me lose a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
So whether there's something going on with his personal life or not, if there's something going on with his personal life, definitely should not be fighting.
Yeah.
Get control and try and get help.
Yeah.
And if it's something else, then once again, he still needs to take a step back and refocus on what he's doing. So for me, I think it's completely up in the air. But if I was to say if it was going to happen or not, I'd say the plug's getting pulled.
So you're being a betting man, you'll say no, it's not going to happen, eh?
No.
I got you, Wyatt. Very good. So Wyatt says no. So what about over to Bradley? What's your take on that? It's going to happen or not happen?
I'm going on Wyatt's side with that. I'm not a big fan of either one. And I personally, I think it could get canceled like closer to the fight. Like I think it can, like that one's coming up in the air. Like I think that'll be like kind of like a split second like decision if they cancel it. I know it sucks for the fans that want to watch it, but I think I could see it possibly getting canceled just with all like you said, all the stuff going on with the social media and stuff like that.
Agreed. Yeah, so it's two there. So Bradley also agrees there with Wyatt. Probably won't happen. Ryan, what's your take on that? It's going to happen, not happen?
I don't know. I hate to be a follower, but
the trend is.
Yeah, it's not looking good, right? But it's not looking good. But I mean, there's been guys that have gone through with fights, and I think probably worse scenarios, worse situations. Like I can think of like a couple, like Ricardo Mayorga. I would imagine was probably high and drunk for most of his training camps, or at least he gave off that impression. I don't know for certain, but and I'm sure there's some top guys, maybe when they get sick of the sport or they've been in it too long, they don't put, the substance aside your training camp and the effort, and maybe they still get through the training camp. You don't know what happens behind closed doors, right?
100%.
But it doesn't look good. I'm not a huge I'm not a Garcia fan at all, and I'm not a huge Haney fan, although I really respect his discipline. And like obviously I respect his skills. He's a phenomenal boxer, but he's just not like it just doesn't do it for me. Just some boxers just
it's levels, right? There's always levels and
just different styles, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
You tend to gravitate towards one style more than the other, but I think it'd be nice to see Shakur Stevenson in the mix with.
That would be,
in the mix with all those big guys. Like he should probably move up, but I don't know what he's doing. He said he retired. I don't know. Does anybody know if he's still retired?
Well, the last I heard, he's like kind of still on the fence from what I'm hearing. There's something going on right now in his life.
I think I saw.
I don't think he's done, but I think it's kind of put out there for now. I think he's got to go through some stuff right now, personally, and so on. But, he's back. I really, he's so talented, so young.
Yeah, I hate to be a cynic, but if Garcia Haney doesn't happen, I'm not losing sleep either. The other guys, man. Honestly, Haney against somebody else. Actually, it's Garcia against anybody. I'm not really interested. Haney against somebody else. Like I said, Shakur. That'd be exciting. That.
Yep. That'd be exciting. No, actually, I do agree with you with the Garcia and Haney matchup. And Garcia to me only has the one weapon, that one tool, is left hook, which in my perspective, it's just a little too short anyway. Yeah. It looks very stiff. He's throwing it. It looks so stiff throwing it.
Yeah, I think his he kind of, I think his train was done right at Gervonta as soon as he signed with to fight Gervonta.
Yeah.
We kind of, the writing was on the wall. We kind of knew what was going to happen in that fight before it happened, right?
Well, good point. I think we all kind of agreement that he's, I think in all our eyes, really, he's a B fighter, right? To me, he's a B fighter. I don't think he's an A fighter, in my opinion.
I think he could be an A fighter, but he just relies on his God-given gifts. Like, he just relies on athleticism and like a choppy left hook. He's got no technique. If you got a good coach and the coach brushed him up, maybe who knows what could happen. You never know. You don't want to set. Yeah, you don't want to set somebody's boundaries, right? Like, he's obviously very athletic, but I don't think he has the work ethic.
Yeah,
and he relies on what you would call like exploitative moves. He throws a whipping left hook with his chin out in the air.
Yeah,
and he gets away with it until you meet a guy who can defend against that left hook, like a Gervonta, who's technically sound. He's also disciplined. Ryan Garcia is not technically sound. He's not disciplined. and so that's kind of why he fell apart at that in that fight, right?
Yeah. No, agreed. You know what's kind of ironic here is actually all you guys can actually teach Ryan Garcia to throw a better left hook. All you guys can teach a better left hook than he could, because I know you guys. I've seen you guys all fight. You guys really all hooks out there.
Hey man, I'm not signing up to take that left hook.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should. Or send out to Victoria Harbour or to Hamilton, or
I'm just saying it's a left hook that'll only take you so far.
Yeah, you got left hook right hand behind that left hook, right? That's what it was all about. So Steve, did they get you?
Follow up. Yeah, I'm with it's if it happens, it happens, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. They
not the end of the world
before.
They used to,
right? They know each other. All their stuff. I know they've been in the ring with each other. What, 6 times? I think.
That's right. Yeah, as amateurs, 6 times.
As amateurs, so you know each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Garcia has to get the mental health issues under control. I work in that field. You gotta get the addictions and mental health under control, right?
100%.
And maintained, right? And have you gotta have that balance, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
That's right. Yeah. That's very true. I find it so underrated with boxing. People don't really appreciate it. You gotta be together. You gotta be mentally, emotionally, psychologically together.
Yeah.
To do this stuff. You gotta know yourself in order to know your opponent better. There's so much more to the sport you can't see, you can't measure, that people don't really quite appreciate. But that's a great point that Steve raises.
And on that, like what you're talking about, I think Devin has a little bit more, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So the edge goes to Devin. If they do fight, I think Devin would win easily.
Yeah, and it'd be more devastating. I think it'd be a quicker result too if he's going in there with that kind of mental disposition for Ryan Garcia. It can be a really bad result fast.
And it could hurt. You can get hurt.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And over to Rich, the boxing prophet. Before we move on, what's your thoughts on this? Will it happen?
Well, I don't think it should happen because not that I don't really want to make a public service announcement on a boxing TV show, but
why not?
Like the Canada's favorite son, the iconic Steve Beaupre pointed out, Ryan Garcia has to take care of his mental issues. He says things on, I don't know if he says things on his social media platform because he honestly believes them or something's just not right. But there is so much money to be made. And unfortunately, that's where I disagree with all of you. I think the fight will take place just because there's a lot of money to be made. And it is in New York. So I do invite all my 5 friends here on the KnockOut TV show, if they want to make that flight to New York.
Oh yeah, right on.
We'd have a great time at the Barclays Center watching the fight. But I said this last year when Tank Davis destroyed Ryan Garcia and knocked him out with a body shot.
Right.
I said on the KnockOut TV show, what in the world has Ryan Garcia done to earn a fight with Tank Davis? If you looked at his resume, his only 2 noteworthy wins were a knockout victory over Luke Campbell, where Garcia had to rise off the canvas to do that, and he beat a completely shot former champion Javier Fortuna in 6 one-sided rounds. And since the loss to Tank Davis, he's only been in the ring once against Oscar Duarte, and he didn't even look that good in stopping Duarte in 8 rounds.
Right.
So, to his credit, Haney continues to take on at least, pretty good opposition. I think his father, Bill Haney, clearly runs the show, and whatever he wants Devin to do, that's what, Devin does, and he's fought, George Kambosos twice.
Right.
Then he fought Lomachenko and Regis Prograis in his last fight. But if you really dive into all of Haney's opponents, when Haney fought them, and this is not Devin's fault, this is why I think Bill Haney's a genius. Devin Haney fights all these guys coming off of career worst performances. Let's forget about Kambosos, because Kambosos is a joke. He's going to fight Lomachenko later this year. Lomachenko will destroy him, and then we'll never hear from George Kambosos again. Yes, I give Haney credit for going to Australia twice, but Kambosos is nothing more then I wouldn't say glorified journeyman, but at best he's a C-plus fighter. But if you look at the Lomachenko fight, when Haney fought Lomachenko, Lomachenko was coming off of a horrific performance against Jermaine Ortiz and barely won that fight. He managed to turn back the hands of time for 24 hours and looked like the old Loma against Haney, whereas a lot of people, including myself, thought either Loma beat Haney or it was a draw. And then after the Loma fight, instead of giving Loma a rematch that he deserved, Haney took on Regis Prograis, who was, the junior welterweight champ, beat him soundly. Flawless performance by Haney. Best performance as a pro. He looked great. But that doesn't take away from the fact that in Prograis' last fight before Haney, he won a split decision over Danielito Zarella, and I thought Zarella either beat Prograis or it could have been a draw. So there seems to be a pattern here that Devin Haney fights people with either like mental issues or fighters coming off of really, really bad performances. And I think that's his father's, fault. Bill Haney runs the show. And, years and years ago, when all four of these guys first started fighting, I remember boxing fans saying, this is the new Four Kings era. We have Teofimo Lopez, we have Shakur Stevenson, we have Tank Davis, and we have Devin Haney. And yet none of them have fought each other. And I think that's sad. I think there are only two fights that interest me now in boxing, from lightweight to junior welterweight. And I think Shakur Stevenson against Tank Davis is the only fight to make at lightweight. And Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney is the only fight to make at junior welterweight. And if those four guys don't eventually fight each other, all four of their legacies, in my mind, should be tainted.
Yeah. I hear you.
Hang on, Richard.
Take on the best guys there is in your time. I totally agree in your era. I totally agree with you. They make you a great champion. So yeah, so true. Excuse me. Well put, Richard. As always, well said there. Well, guys, let's move on before the clock runs out here on us. Topic number 3, round number 3. We're talking about the 33-year-old Saul Alvarez Canelo, 16-2 and 3-9 KOs. Will be defending his undisputed super middleweight championship against 27-year-old Jamie Mugaya, who's 43-0 with 34 KOs, which is scheduled on May 4th. So, and of course, we've seen on the DAZN pay-per-view network as well. So, knockout panel, what are your thoughts? Is Canelo avoiding? Is he ducking Benavidez? What do you think? What's your thoughts? Over to Wyatt in Nova Scotia first.
I think he is ducking. He's not, in my opinion, he's not in his prime. Like he's not bad by any means, but he's on his way out.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
Mind you, I like Jamie. For a while, I don't know what it is about him, but or the way that he fought. I think it was Brandon Cook on the undercard of the Canelo Triple G.
Oh yeah, right.
Since that fight, I've absolutely loved Jamie, and I've wanted to watch him and Canelo fight for a few years now. So definitely, I'm gonna be happy with that.
Yeah.
But I think he is. I don't want to say ducking him, but kind of
he's avoiding
going out and around.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Over to to Bradley. What's your thoughts on that?
I've always thought Canelo, like through his whole career, like other than taking the Mayweather fight early, obviously because he was super young, but if that opportunity comes, you take it. I always thought that his fights were always properly taken, which is good on his team's side, I guess. But like I do think that he lost a couple of those on the way up, but that's another topic.
What was that?
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I'd like to see the younger guy win. I've never been a big Canelo fan. Obviously, he's an amazing boxer, so you can't bash that. But I would like to see someone else kind of take the throne.
Right on.
And to me, like, I don't know, it's weird because Canelo comes off of a loss and he still has his throne.
I know. He is a king somehow.
It's weird. It's weird to me. Like, usually when people lose, it takes time to build it back, but he loses and he's right back on the throne. Like, I don't understand. I don't know.
It does show you like how much of a cash cow he really is in the sport of boxing on a world stage. Like, he is the guy. He really is. And I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100% on that, for sure.
Yeah, like we talked about people taking their first loss and it's actually the end of the world, and sometimes they never recover it from mentally because everybody's hating on him so much. That's right. But then he loses and his last loss, he lost pretty like blatant. Like, there's no way he, like, I don't know. I thought Canelo lost that one.
Me too. Yeah, I agree.
And then for some reason he's still on his throne.
I hear you, man.
So hopefully he can get dethroned by a younger guy, and then maybe they can jump. They could let him on the throne for a bit.
Well, exactly. I hear you. Because I agree. I think a little weight changing cutting he's done over the years now impacting his performance overall. He's not as fast as he was. Not as his reflexes not as sharp as they were. So yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. Over to Ryan. What's your thoughts? Is Canelo avoiding Benavidez? What do you think?
Is he avoiding Benavidez?
It's
hard to say, man. I don't know. Like to Bradley's point, he's always been very selective with his opponents.
Yes.
Whether that's his choice or his team's choice, I don't know. But he has been very selective. I agree. He got some gifts. He got a gift against Triple G the first 2 times, and then he very strategically took the third fight with Triple G when Triple G was way past his prime. And then that was a clear win for Canelo, so it almost made those first 2 fights like disappear, right? Like you know what I mean? It made that whole like, I mean, you know, those losses, those were actually losses, and they're wiped away just by that one win against a past his prime Triple G. So that's unfortunate. But I do, like, I got to give Canelo respect for going up to fight Bivol. He went up and fought a bigger man in his prime. So that's where, like, it's counterintuitive to think that he's ducking Benavidez. I don't know. But it could be that if he fights Benavidez, he's not necessarily the bigger guy. Canelo is not necessarily the smaller man in that scenario, you know. And he went up to Bivol, he had nothing to lose.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Right? He's going up against a world-class boxer, you know, a few divisions up.
Yeah.
So he looks good either way. He looks brave if he loses, and he looks like a Hall of Famer if he wins, right?
That's
but if he fights Benavidez is a monster, but he's younger, a little younger, but he's not all that much bigger than Canelo, right? So, you know, that I don't know. So is he ducking him? It's hard to say. It's just because there's so many variables in Canelo's career. Like, he's taken on
there has been
challenges. He's been selective with opponents. He's gotten some gifts, some decisions that were gifts. It's like, man, the guy's all over the place, and he's still a star, and he has to take big risks, and so maybe that's why people like him. So kudos to him. But that being said, straight answer. Sorry.
That's okay, man. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah, part of me thinks he's ducking Benavidez because he's got more to lose there. He's not as big of an underdog against Benavidez as he was against Bivol. And so maybe he's ducking him. And I'll finish by saying I hope Jamie Munguia wins.
Right on. It's all good, man. It's all good. Steve, what's your take, man?
Well, my heart's with Canelo to beat Jamie and destroy Jamie. I hated Jamie.
Okay.
I don't know why. He just never fought anybody. Like, to me, he's the one that's been coming up and never So, but I don't think he's ducking Benavides. I think he'll.
Do you
fight
think it's
him.
going to happen, eh?
I think it's going to happen. But one fight at a time. He's got to get through. He's got to get through this one. But I think it'll be. Hopefully, he destroys him.
So you're going to say it's going to happen down the road in terms of.
I hope it shows the old Canelo, right?
Yeah.
He shows that old Canelo.
Which he could. He could. I hear you. Could be a long shot, but yeah.
Then it could set up, the next fight for Benavides.
Yeah. True enough.
More money.
More money. Yes.
Money talks.
Money sure does talk, man. Yes, it does.
I agree with everybody.
Oh, sorry, Steve. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I agree with a lot what people have said.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he looked a little flat against Bivol, so like it could have been that you can only go up in weight so much, right?
Yeah, that's my point
maybe
too.
At a better weight down here, maybe we do start to see some old Canelo,
Yeah,
and Styles too. Styles.
Yeah, Styles make fights as well.
Styles make fights, yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. I think the weight change he's been making the last several years, I think it's actually impacting him now in terms of physicality of it all. I think it's just too much cutting he's been doing the last little while, and jumping up and down, and this is hard on the body. It really is.
That's hard.
Very hard, right? Very hard, and a very hard sport to begin with. So, Mr. Boxing Prophet, what's your take? Is Canelo dodging Benavides? What do you think?
Well, I think dodging is a harsh word, and I respectfully disagree with one of my favorite people in the boxing community, Mr. Ryan Rannelli. I actually thought that Triple G dominated the first fight against Canelo, 116-112. I thought Canelo.
I'm out of here.
I thought that. Well, Ryan, I said Triple G won.
No, boys.
You should be happy. Triple G dominated the first fight, 116-112. I had Canelo barely winning the second fight, 115-113. And the third fight's not even worth discussing because, Triple G was way past his prime.
I thought you said Canelo won the first fight.
No. Triple G dominated the first fight.
Sorry.
Yeah, careful here on the show, that's for sure.
Yes, then I thought, Canelo won the second fight. We won't even discuss the third. But, people need to put some respect on Canelo's name. If you look at his body of work, he fought Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders when they were both undefeated, beat them both. He fought slick boxers in Erislandy Lara and Austin Trout and emerged victorious against both of them. He beat Daniel Jacobs when Jacobs was kind of still in his prime. He rose to light heavyweight not once but twice, beating Sergey Kovalev for a light heavyweight belt, and then unfortunately losing to Bivol. So it's not like, Canelo Alvarez isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. I just think he wants to fight Benavides on his own terms. I think the fight will get made. In terms of Jaime Munguia, the only other options for May 4th were Jamal Charlo, who's been really inactive. No one wants to see that fight. And Edgar Berlanga, who doesn't have the experience. The only thing I'm worried about with Munguia is, he really, like Ryan Garcia, he really has no names on his resume. He destroyed Saddam Ali back in 2018 to win a world title at junior middleweight. And then he keeps on moving up in weight. He moved up to middleweight. He moved up. Now he's a super middleweight. And the only recognizable names on his resume are John Ryder, who, yes, he looked better against John Ryder than Canelo did, but that was clearly because Canelo fought down to the level of his opposition, and he didn't take Ryder seriously. And then in 2023's Fight of the Year, Jaime Munguia had a war with Sergey Derevyanchenko, who's best known for giving Triple G the fight of his life at Madison Square Garden. And a lot of people thought Derevyanchenko might have beaten Triple G. And I thought that the Munguia-Derevyanchenko fight was a 50-50 fight, and it was 115-113 either way. Jaime Munguia is a volume puncher. He's a brawler. He's sort of like David Benavides, except he has no defense whatsoever, and he's tailor-made for Canelo. It'll be a war on May 4th. I think Munguia will have his moments because I don't think Canelo's necessarily in his prime. He's on the back nine of his career. But if Canelo's fully motivated and you see Canelo at his best, I think he stops Munguia in about the 8th to 9th round. And I don't think he's going to fight Benavides in September. I think it'll be another opponent. But if and there are rumors that Benavidez, it's not confirmed yet, but there were strong rumors that Benavidez is moving up to 175.
Right.
He's going to take a fight against a top 5 light heavyweight, and then he will seek the winner of Beterbiev against Bivol. So if he does this, then I don't think the Canelo fight's going to happen. But I think that we'll see. If money talks, and I think if Canelo looks great and destroys Munguia, cooler heads will prevail. And maybe even if David Benavidez takes the fight at 175, he goes back down to 168 and faces Canelo. Surely Benavidez has built quite the name for himself. Back-to-back wins over Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andrade. And I feel bad for him. He's earned the shot. And dare I say, I'm a huge fan of Canelo, as Ryan Rannelli knows. And even though Ryan will be happy to hear this, by the way, and so will all the Canelo naysayers, I would be so bold as to say that even though Canelo is the undisputed champion at super middleweight, you can make a strong case that he's not the best super middleweight. Right now, I think that David Benavidez is the best super middleweight in the world, and Canelo is the second best at 168. But they have to fight once and for all to determine who the best is. I think the fight happens, but it won't happen until 2025.
Interesting. Very good stuff, man. As always, very good. Very good. Well, guys, before we wrap it all up here, so we'll run the panel quickly. So, decision, knockout, Canelo, Munguia. Go over to Wyatt again.
I'd love to see Canelo lose, just because there are, as they brought up, a few fights where he probably should have lost. I'm a huge Triple G fan.
Yeah, me too.
So those fights, I'm with. I'm against Canelo.
Against Canelo, very good. Same, me too. Over to so Bradley, what you can take? Decision, knockout for Canelo or Munguia?
I think Canelo's going to win. Do I want him to win? No. But I think he will. He always tends to pull it off. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Canelo.
Very good.
I'll go Canelo. Possibly knockout, just from being too much. Like, not the inexperience, because he's got a lot of experience, but the caliber of fighters.
Yeah, agreed. And then one more time, we're to Ryan. Knockout, decision, Canelo, Munguia.
I get... So I said I wanted Munguia to win, but I'm kind of in the same camp as Bradley. I feel like I don't think Canelo's past his prime. Like I said, when he lost to Bivol, he looked a little flat, and that could have been a bad training camp or just a bad weight.
Yeah,
he looked better in some of the fights afterwards, and so I still think he's got it. I give Canelo the edge in a decision, but it would be cool to see Munguia win and have somebody else in the mix there.
Yeah, right on. And then Steve, finally, one more time, what's your take? Decision, knockout?
I hope
Canelo
destroys Jamie Munguia. I hope he just destroys them in 5.
Yeah, I think it could be the same thing. I think so too. By 5 or 6 rounds, it could be over. And I agree. I'm not a big fan of Canelo. Never have been. But,
I'm a Triple G. I was a Triple G.
I'm a Triple G guy too myself. Yeah, I love Triple G. Yeah. Still use.
And guys, just remember, if Munguia should happen to upset Canelo, then we'll never see Canelo Benavidez. So I think all you guys who don't want to see Canelo lose should root for Canelo to win, just like we should root for Fury over Usyk, so we get Fury AJ.
And AJ going on.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That's fair.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead there.
No, I was just gonna say I'm more interested in Beterbiev and
With
who we got? No, Bivol. Well, Beterbiev is gonna beat Bivol, and then whoever's next for Beterbiev, that's what I'm more interested in.
Gotcha. Well, guys, as always, very good. Thank you for your insights and predictions, and that's always great stuff, as always. So I want to thank Bradley Wilcox for jumping on the show. Folks, you got to check him out. United Boxing Promotions happening April 27th at the great Canadian Casino and Resort in Toronto, Ontario. Get your tickets through Ticketmaster.ca. Yeah, support your local boxers, folks. Got some good ones here. Just like this guy over here. And not to mention as well, we got Wyatt, Sandman, Sanford, and Nova Scotia for Team Canada. about to be a two-time Olympian at this pace right now, right? So well underway. And of course, the great king boxing treasure for us here on the show, Steve Beaupre. Always awesome, always great. And Ryan Rannelli, we just love this guy out of Burlington, Ontario. Great coach, great boxer his day as well. And the boxing prophet in New York City, as always. Thanks, man. Thank you, folks, for joining us. And remember, check out Zingo TV for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it. And hey, man, love it. Thanks again. We'll see you guys real soon. Take care. All the best.